the yogurt kefir workshop. All I stated already is that we're going to be making yogurt in the Instant Pot, and it needs to be very clean before because we'll be incubating bacteria. So what I do is I set the Instant Pot up in an area where it will kind of relatively be out of the way for like 24 hours. Plugging it in.
And how do you ensure that this pot is super clean?
Just give it a wash, and just make sure that there aren't any like just crusty bits on the inside.
Yeah.
No crusties.
No crusties.
Okay.
So we'll put it in here. And yeah, I just take the oldest milks and pour them in. So this is from the 13, from the 16, 17. So we'll do about these few. So we'll pour them in. Does someone want to pour in simultaneously? And inside of this, you can see that there's like a max fill line. It says PC Max. So you want to make sure you fill it like a little bit under that because we're going to be adding yogurt.
Okay.
So yeah, about 3.5 gallons is about the amount that it fills.
3.5.
3.5 gallons. So 1.5 gallons. So yeah. So I like to let this sit for 110 degrees for about 24 hours. And I'll show you how to set it on the Instant Pot. So you turn it on, make sure it's plugged in. Here, let me pull it this way so everyone can see. So here you can change the dial and it will go to different settings. So here's the yogurt setting, and that means it'll just stay at it, like it'll reach a temperature and then it'll just stay at that temperature for as long as you set it for. So you can click through to like look at the different settings within the yogurt setting. And I have it set already on custom. So if you make yogurt, it'll already be set, and it's custom to 110 degrees. So that's like a good temperature for incubation, and it's like less than like 130 or 70 or something like that, which is for pasteurization. So it's important that it's below pasteurization, so that it still has like good bacteria and enzymes for our digestion. So I have it set for 24 hours. So we'll just cook through. So once it says 24 hours and custom, we'll put the lid on. Also make sure the lid is like relatively clean. And yeah, you can screw the lid on like this and press start. And I'm realizing now that it's gonna take a few hours for it to for the next step to happen, but I can just tell you what I do. So you'll see here, there's like this little ramp, this little like graph that it's gonna make. And once it reaches like the peak, like over here, that means it's at the 110 degrees, and it'll stay at that for 24 hours. So once it reaches that, which will take like a few hours, I come back in a few hours, I add like just a little bit of yogurt, probably about like 3/4 of a cup of yogurt that we already have in the fridge. So if you're the one making yogurt, you always have to make sure that there's some saved from the last batch. So normally what I do is like if I see that yogurt is going low, I'll put some blue tape on it and put it in the back fridge so that it's saved until I have time to make the next batch. So, and if we do run out of yogurt, it's totally fine. We can just get organic yogurt from the store and just add a little bit to start it again. But yeah, that's like our starter and the bacteria that cultures all the rest of the batches. Yeah, so add that in a few hours once it reaches temperature. Stir it around a little bit with a clean whisk or spoon just so it's like incorporated, and then just let it sit for the rest of the 24 hours. And then after 24 hours, you take it out. I'll show you my little setup. I'm gonna go in here. I use these guys. You need 2 of them just because of the amount that we have. And so you take these. Also make sure they're clean. Sometimes they have little crusty bits in them.
How do you make sure they're really clean?
You can just run them under here and like kind of use the pressure to like get out the crusty bits. And then you can take a sponge and just
Clean it. Clean it.
yeah, clean it. And then you can take this is often like a little shallow, but you can take like a pot, like here I'll show you. Look, you know what a pot looks like.
What one do you use?
So like something like this, yeah. And then cheesecloth. So in here we have not these guys. And I can put these in a different spot too. But these guys are really awesome because it's like you don't have to cut it or anything. It's like
Orange.
yeah. So you lay it like this, and then pour the yogurt on, and you do 2 of these, and then that will be enough. And then I let it sit. So you can decide here how thick you want it. This is basically going to strain the whey. You can see on this last batch of yogurt that I made, I didn't strain out the whey because I was lazy, and there's some whey that separated at the bottom. Not the end of the world, but it's not very attractive. So yeah, if you want to strain out the whey, you just do this, and then I put it in the walk-in fridge, and I come back to it. You can come back to it like in a few hours. Like if you do it, like you could do it, in a few hours, or
So you just let it sit. You don't squeeze it or anything.
Yeah, you don't
pour
squeeze
it in
it.
there and let it sit.
you let it sit, and then if you want to make cultured sour cream or labneh or like super thick Greek yogurt, it's basically all the same thing. You can let it sit for like 24 hours, and then it gets really thick, and then you just spoon it out from the cheesecloth into the jar, and then you can kind of squeeze the rest out of the cheesecloth. It gets.
And when you put it in the walk-in, do you cover it?
I kind of like just go like this.
Cute. Tuck it in.
Yeah. Just go like this, so nothing gets inside.
And so what determines the consistency is how long you strain it?
Yeah, how long you strain it. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So yeah, if you like it thick, like really thick, like this in here, like this is about like 24 hours. There's some whey collecting at the top,
Can you put it upside down?
but there's some whey collecting at the top, but
Wow.
yeah, it's really thick. It's like
Ooh,
sour.
look at that.
Yummy.
Yeah, so that's that, and then so
And
you
also
can really
make sure the jars are super clean.
yeah, the jars need to be clean, but it's not as much of a issue because it is refrigerated. But in general, everything should be clean.
Keep everything clean.
Keep everything clean.
Keep everything clean.
Yeah, so that's for the yogurt, and if you want, we can meet up again, like when the temperature reaches, so I can show you like mixing the yogurt in.
Do you know approximately when that will be?
Maybe like 3 or 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so also a really important step is cleaning the milk jugs.
Yeah.
And I would actually like to show you guys after we do the kefir how I clean them, because like I started like cleaning them and then sanitizing them too after. So I think we should all be practicing that too.
Food handler license.
Yeah.
Food handler.
It's like about the yogurt makes about like 2 or 3, like 2.5 of the half gallons worth of yogurt. It also depends on like how much you strain it, how much whey comes out. But I always make sure to give like at least 1/2 gallon to the farm team. They like to have it, and they take care of the goats, Lorenzo and Jenna.